it's a scary thing. Like you, as a writer, I sit down at a page and it's blank, and I find things to say more or less every day these days. I got back into it, as it were, and I go out every day. And today, like I was sort of a little blah, but not too bad, and you know, didn't really want to have an eventful day. But this area, this beach, has been probably one of the most healthy, useful places to recover from stresses, which I don't really want to take the trouble to always enumerate because they are blatantly or eminently disturbing in their implications. So I'd rather just say I'm having a good day. Just gotta be smart, live in paradise in a sense of choose the nice places to walk. Be smart about it. You can't always be perfect. I'm gonna go places where I have what I consider, and you get pretty sensitive maybe out here, very, very problematic type of people who are usually middle-aged to older white women, sometimes young girls. I have no easy way with them. Some people, fine, just, I had enough. I'm very jealous of my sacred time, and just, everyone wants to have, I probably have a little snobbery around the time I get to myself. People aren't to my taste, and or I find them offensive, and or I find them, injurious or disturbing. I've been very patient throughout my life, very, very patient. I think a lot of us are, but as I got older, I started drawing a line and saying, no, I'm not going to take this anymore. And sure enough, the things we decide not to take are things that most of the people doing the taking had never been told not to do. So it's a very difficult undertaking to stop the taking that is used to taking and not thinking that is taking anything at all. Subsequently, which you're basically taking something away from them that they don't want to be took either, which includes being able to take things from you that aren't really taking, and includes you of taking something you're not taking, except that you're taking a bit of an interest in your own safety, and they're obviously not. And there's a conflict. I've learned that humans are a swarming mass of, at least women, hormones and chemicals, that the things that come out of their mouths and the ways their minds form upon us as men is by no means innocuous at any time. Women, at their best and at their worst, have to have very strong minds that are all about the business of forming or not upon strange men one way or the other. And in some sense, if women weren't more aggressive than I am, I probably never would have known any of you. Unfortunately, all the ones I've known were too aggressive. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword. Cuts both ways. Going in and coming in. Yeah, I think somebody had a fire here today, which I'm guessing they're allowed to. Personally, I just think, burning stuff. Eagles everywhere. This is pretty good. I wonder how many days in a row now I'll get my respect. So it's nice. I wanted to walk. I felt called, but then, nature showed me as it can. Like, oh, this isn't really a safe area for you anymore. It's not. I might as well cancel walking there. Even though I've taken months off, no, this area it's telling me that's enough. It's almost like, how some of us who had kind of eaten in different ways, and there's things you say like have too much estrogen, and it's not good for men, like tofu or something. Well, I find areas in humans where there's too much estrogen. And if there's too much estrogen, and if there's an area I've been walking in for last winter, and it just from beginning to end, it just said, this will always be dangerous for you in some way. This is not a totally safe area. You court hardship walking over a terrain that spans thousands of square kilometers because of the variety or number of certain kinds of, if innocently sexually inappropriate women who, aren't doing anything explicitly wrong, but ways that I can suffer from are definitely oriented wrongly toward me. And I don't like the way they approach me, ever. I don't like the way they talk to me. It's not bad per se, but it's like they want something from me that I don't want from them. And you walk so many hundreds of thousands of miles, and nobody talks to you this way except that they have an agenda. And you know it. You know it like a police officer may know when someone's lying to you or not. And you just know it. They don't realize how obvious they are about it. That because you're a certain gender, because you're by yourself, and because of why they're out there and their purpose in doing this, whatever their healing walk is to meet and talk to people like you. Because they're attracted to you, and they think that's a good thing, that's a compliment to you. And that's how they are. And so maybe men are like, hey, I'm attracted to you, you should be happy about that. And like, I don't talk to women, but that they talk to me. And then if I don't feel right about them, I'm just never going to feel right. There's something too aggressive. They can't help themselves. Their minds are like too penetrating and too oblivious. They look with such force for something that's so unpredictable and untrustworthy, and what it's going to do with anything it learns about you because of how blind it is. Like from the beginning, like just clumsy in its forcefulness and aggression in the way when someone first meets you, or clumsy all along the way in a way that might become less or more to less or less to more obvious. And it's like, when you think this person doesn't really care enough about someone, even as much as you might expect, because it's worth their time to talk to you at all, even at that most basic level. That we can reliably and sincerely affect a certain consideration for a person who's taken the time to talk to us at all, especially someone who has more to benefit from it than you do, if they're an older or unattractive female. Unfortunately, that's kind of the way it is, because that's the way they're talking to me, as though they're desperate. This is a non-ordinary interaction. They're interacting with me from the hip. This is how they are with men, not just me. This is the way I'm with men routine. You can't trust anything about it. I don't trust them. There are people who they've worked in places, they've been around people. That doesn't, just because people have been around humans, doesn't mean they're good with humans. Humans deal with humans all the time in all kinds of businesses and all kinds of occupations who never really learn how to be with human beings. It's just that they operate in a realm where no one ever feels comfortable telling them that doesn't feel good. And it doesn't matter how nice they are, but if I continue any acquaintance with them that can make me sick, how do you feel if you're interacting with someone and you already know it's never going to be worth your while? You're literally just giving them your time for nothing. You're never going to get anything out of it. And you're just standing there taking this unacceptable dynamic. It doesn't matter what the provenance is. You need to break that engagement. You shouldn't be in that position. You just shouldn't be there. And you know you shouldn't. You just know it all through and through. And if I know that, and I'm not seeing and I'm not feeling what I should when I meet this person, instead I'm feeling and seeing things I shouldn't, because I am more aware, because I am more suspicious of who they are and how they're approaching me. It's just how someone approaches us, and it just gets worse and worse and worse. And maybe on the side you say, well, you're just paranoid. And it's like, no, I'm being myself. Because if I'm worth it to anyone, I have to be this sensitive. Otherwise, I can't give my mom, I can't give people I want to give my full honesty, my full health, and stuff like that. Before you met me, I've worked my way through a world where particularly women treat me very poorly. And, almost innocently as it is, normal as you might say it is, it doesn't feel good to me. I know when it feels good, I know when it doesn't. And I've learned very late in life that that's just the way it is. Whether you're a man, whether you're a woman, that for all kinds of reasons, the opposite sex can approach you the wrong way, and you have to be able to rebuff them in some way. You have to at least be able to tell yourself, no, I don't like that woman. I don't like that guy. I don't like him. No. You have to be rude, but it's like if a woman intrudes upon my space and asserts herself and initiates an interaction with me, and I don't like it, to me, I don't have to be polite. Right? If you come at people the right way, you don't have to worry about them rebuffing you at all. The way I stave off rejection from women is I don't talk to you for any reason, let alone for romantic reasons. I don't talk to women expecting anything from them, ever. I get very different energy profiles: weak, strong, violent, non-violent, happy, sad, horny, constipated, you name it. Women are animals too, they can be all different states. And it's like, I'm pretty sure that in the course of any kind of natural year, say from spring to spring, if I come across more than one instance of genuinely nice, healthy, and sound female energy, usually from someone between the age of 16 and 18 years old, that's it. In my building, the only time that I've been addressed in a way that felt nice to me and honest and pure and clear was from a 16-year-old white girl I saw once in the lobby. That was it. I came home and said, Mom, wow, I just had someone talk to me in the nicest way. It was like, wow. It's like women just don't talk to me that way. The healthfulness. I wish every woman spoke to me that way. What a wonderful world. Because that would mean that you were all really healthy. It's not even the youth. It's just like she just had a nice way about her. Women don't realize how gnarly they become. I can be polite to them, but I don't get anything in return. I get nothing. You've got nothing from me. Women, unfortunately, that I meet, don't have nearly as much to offer as they think they do. And if we all just spent more time thinking about, is there something sacred, something valuable from boys to men about man's energy that's worth being a little bit modest about? The mystery of it all. Men are going to suffer or not from the same mystery. Like, what is a man? That I don't know until I open my mouth and tell you. But there's no point if you're not interested in finding out what that is as much as I am. And what about you, a woman? That you may not know exactly how wonderful and pure you are or were, but you open your mouth to talk about what life has been like to you. And you don't know what that's going to sound like, and so someone wants to listen to you. And the thing is, a lot of men like me, we spend a lot of time listening to women. Listening and listening and listening through years of shock from what women have said to us that I deem violent, not in the sense that you've done something wrong, but in the sense that there's a lot of fucking information about violence from women that feels a lot like, they were raping me. It's a lot of information. Women, whether they're talking a lot or they behave this way or whatever kind of relationship I've ever had or women have insinuated toward me, always have a lot to say. Their bodies, their mouths, their behavior, everything about how they interact with me they certainly have a lot to say to their daddy. My God, the number of fathers that didn't seem to allow their daughters to feel like they exist. Daughters in turn might not have learned to understand the value of the existence of a father, because it is a part of who we are. Oops. I'm going to go over here because there's a young girl over there. I just want to sit down, but I don't want to sit down there because I'll be able to see that teenage girl. And it's not my cup of tea. Especially when they can't see you, right, just in the trees. It's like if it was just some old dude with his dog, it'd probably be fine. But just see that's how sex enters in. That's nobility, right? It's not like I even had any but the quickest glance at her, but it's like if I don't of course she must make a curious object for my examination. A young female, beautiful, young, pure, enjoying a day or moment at the ocean with her family. What's not to like? Except that I could give her her privacy. See, hostility of any kind or sexual aggression is not just what you don't do, It's the options that you have and how to behave towards them. If I have the option to turn my back, I'm going to sit down. I'm stoned. I've been walking big. My energy can be kind of erratic, impulsive, opinionated. I'm going to turn my back, just waltz down the beach a little bit, find someplace else to sit out of the way, and relax for a bit. And if I can do that, and I said I could have sat there, but I had this option, right? You could say that's a bit sexually aggressive. It's not fair because well, I'm a man. I can sit wherever I want. It doesn't matter. Would I want to be her? No. People go to the beach. They don't expect some dude to be watching them from a distance. It's not on their list of things to do for the day. It's one of those things. Okay, she's gone. I don't know if they're walking this way, so I'd rather just be visible. See, they are walking right there. Sometimes people come out to the rocks and maybe they walk down this way and then they'll just see me totally visible. Right? Visibility, my friend, is the indivisibility of the spirit, in the visibility of the body, the indivisibility of the mind. It's a good spot. It's a good spot. The holy spot. It's a good spot. It's kind of a spot where it's kind of a spot. Not to play with my cock. Don't mention cock. Go to a school for girls. Mr. Landon is here today to give you a very special presentation. The parents are all sitting there and like, I want to talk about cock. Lots of cock. Do any of you ever think about cock? This is a picture of my cock in a semi-erect position. Your medium-grade porn films will often have this in the magazines reviewing their content. It's called half or semi-erect. At this point, I'd like to ask anyone if they have any objections to this speech about my penis. And of course, at that point, the world would be very liberal. They'd be like, nope. Maybe one person would show up with a protester or two, be like, you're disgusting. Your speeches are filthy. The Lord God will strike you down. And security will come in and cavity search them. Well, everyone, I consider that an amuse-bouche. Now to get into the real nitty-gritty. Some people don't want you to see a picture of my penis. They want to live in a world where men can't just give speeches about their penis to government-funded schools for children. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to live in that world. I need to live in a world where I can talk about my penis. We call this video the test to see how much of a libertarian you really are. You Philistine. Hi. Um, I'm about an hour away. I'm just wondering, is there any good food in the house? Oh, is there? Thank you. Thank you. Oh, yeah, how you doing? Yeah, okay. All right, good. Okay. I'll see you in a bit. Thank you. Right. Oh, yeah. Thank you. That's lovely. All right, bye now. Oh, that's so funny. Sorry. Yeah. God damn. Yeah. It serves me right. It's like laughing and eating at the same time. What do you do for a living? Oh, I travel around to girls' boarding schools and talk about my penis. I want all the girls in the world to know penises are a very strange little animal. They're little noodles that get a man into all kinds of trouble. A vagina is basically jail for the man's penis. The man's penis is crucified in the vagina for the sins of his being born. A man answers his debt to society by sticking his erect manhood into a vestibule of the altar of his sacrifice. Though Isaac before him, and Moses before him, and Ezekiel with the wheels of fire, which is really just a venereal disease of an unwanted amount of erections. It is not for a man to feel hard, but rather to remain soft at all times, so that women may not do anything with your pee-pee which you should not want them to do. They would say, "What is this sour, flaccid little thing, which does not answer to my touch, nor even to my nubile breath, and nor the shaking of my ripe and raunchy buttocks, upon which your hands may rest in all their malfactored desires." And the man shall say, "What should it avail thee, harlot, that I shall not be able to fill ye with the engorged gorgon which you should like the most, but shall toast my good fortune at not having enough of the Holy Ghost to supply the wafers in this grand communion, this communion and consummation devoutly to be wished, but only to take the 3/5 of my penis which is appointed to that sin, which has commended me to the payment of such a debt, which I dare say my asshole cannot afford to pay." And since this is our first date, I think you should pay for this, in fact, because I haven't enjoyed a single bite of this steak and lobster while having to lament the poor state of my penis. And for such an unworthy audience, too. So I just. Humor is the best medicine. If your humor is like mine, it wants to dine upon the swine of human time. It wants to dine upon the swine of Nazis who hurt the Jews and people who have too much juice and no use for the juice, but they juice where they choose to be. I used to be, used to be, used to be you. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the one the Jews used to know. I've known some pretty weird people. I knew this old Rosicrucian who used to take clinical notes upon my behavior while standing right beside me, out loud to himself. Oh, you seem quite puckish today. And it's like, yeah, I'm enjoying myself. And the moment you fucking get to enjoy yourself, it's amazing how these fucking weird fucking monsters just all of a sudden have to kind of like intrude into your personal mind. It's amazing. The weird people I've known. They don't want me to relax. They don't want me to have fun. They want to have fun at my expense. They don't want me to have fun. They want to tell me about their fucking religions. They want to tell me about their weird lives. They want to tell you about their theories of the human condition. But they don't want to hear my thoughts on anything. Because they need to share their thoughts. I don't. But now I know it's dangerous. Like, I mean, you shouldn't be around people who don't want to hear what you have to say. Strangers, maybe, but not your friends. This looks just like a bear. Look at this. This is awesome. Let me put this right here. It looks just like a bear. Here you go. My mom said there are wings at home on kombucha. I shall go hither, and should spawn like a world more fitting for my contempt for that world. It all should be made well. Oh, sorry. Oh God, what a drink. Okay, here we go. Oh, oh choking doesn't want to agree with me. Here we go. There's some choking down there, so I'm just going to put this away.